Good evening and welcome back to the Celtic Way. Celtic 5, Aberdeen 1. Live full-time reaction as Daizen Maeda makes it 25 for the season to smash the Dons. Celtic go 16 points clear. I'm Tony Haggerty, at Haggerty10 on the X and Twitter handle, and I'm joined once again by Ryan McGinley, at the Ryan McGinley on the X or Twitter handle from our rain-soaked Celtic Park. Ryan, how are you, sir?
Things are good, yeah. Great result. I think we'll talk probably more about the result than the performance tonight, if I'm being perfectly honest. Didn't think it was that great a performance, but see if you're not going to play that well and still score 5 goals and only concede 1, maybe on a night that you could have and maybe should have conceded more, then I'm not really going to complain at all. Aberdeen remain the only side to have scored against Celtic at home in the league. I suppose that's pretty consistent. 5 goals, 2 goals for Daizen Maeda. He's 25th of the season. Some really good cameos off the bench, in particular again from Yang. We'll probably talk about him, but he again made a positive impact. And Arne Engels continues to impress and dazzle.
A midfield masterclass, I described it as, Ryan, in my analysis. Yeah, he was involved in all of the first 3 goals by half-time. It was his kind of attempted pass that was scooped into the air. Daizen Maeda volleys at home. He then played. Do you know what he's really good at? See that cutback to find a player who inevitably scores. He did it in the cup final for Kuhn as well. Very similar. That reminded me of that goal. But he's very accurate with that, Ryan. Even when he might be in a position to shoot or score himself, that cutback, you can't defend against that at times. And I've seen him do that many times, and he's very unselfish when it comes to that. But he's got a great eye for that pass, and I just thought he was brilliant. He was the best player in the park for me tonight. Don't know if we'll maybe argue the toss on that one if you saw somebody better, but
nope.
Arne Engels for me is going to be a player of repute moving forward. He's 21, 11 million quid's looking at a bit of a steal, Ryan.
I think he will. I think he's going to very quickly become the best player in Scotland. He struts his stuff around that pitch now. There's no confidence issues with him anymore. I really enjoy what he brings. I think the first goal is because he injects a bit of pace into the game and runs forward. He makes things happen. He takes the ball on a bit of a run, and that in turn comes to the deflection that then heads to Maeda. Maeda's in the right place at the right time. It's when he injects himself into the game with a bit of pace and a bit of flair, good things tend to happen. He could have easily took a shot for that Jota goal. Instead, he cuts it back. Jota did his best to probably miss the chance, but it was another great assist for Arne Engels. Yeah, he was involved in everything positive with Celtic in the first half. And I thought he kept that midfield together as well in the first half as well. He was the controller.
Yeah, and it was his challenge on Jensen that allowed McGregor, the loose ball spun to McGregor, and McGregor tucks it away with a plum. But Daizen Maeda, 25 for the season, unbelievable. His work rate's incredible, and even in the end, he's still in the right place at the right time to tuck home Alistair Johnston, who was making his 100th appearance. Good to see he marked it with an assist, Ryan. Long may that continue. We've spoken about Johnston being future captain material, and there was still enough time for Celtic to bring on 19-year-old Jude Bonner for his first appearance. So all in all, Ryan, a good night's work. And Yang's looking better every time he comes off the bench, doesn't he? Goals will work wonders for his confidence as well. And that was a 17-pass move, Ryan, that he finished off. Incidentally, nice bit of intricacy around the box. Thought McCowan looked very good when he came on as well. An impact.
Assist.
Ida made an impact too. So, it's just frustrating that these guys, when they get the chance, sometimes don't grasp it. But when they come on to make an impact, they certainly do, don't they?
These players have to make an impact because they won't be in the team if they don't make an impact off the bench. These they're not getting given these opportunities just to make up the numbers or to get that match bonus or the win bonus. They're there for the future, and whenever they come onto the park, they've got to show their stuff. And I thought that the majority of the players that came onto the park did that on the night. I thought especially, I think we need to talk about Yang in isolation, to be honest, because that goal, he starts it and then he finishes it because he's in the right place at the right time. He passes the ball, gets it to Luke McCown gives it back to him, makes that move, and then it's a near post finish. I think Ross Doone will be quite disappointed with that.
I'm not so sure about the goalkeeping, to be honest. It's pretty foul off the effort, but it still goes in.
How many chances have we seen, even this season, from Yang, in which he should be doing better from a good opportunity? His luck's there for him, and he's getting rewarded for his patience and his determination to get into these areas and make something happen. I just think he's a guy playing with so much confidence at the moment, which makes you wonder why he wasn't brought on at the weekend. In the Hibs game, maybe he's got more work to do in order to be that option off the bench and occasionally start games, but he's going about it in the right way. He's clearly doing something right in training, and he got his reward by, first of all, the goal, and then his contribution for that fifth goal. You know, it was really good play from him from the fifth goal as well. So I'm really delighted with his efforts tonight. Great attitude shown, but that's all he's shown at Celtic. He's shown a great attitude and a fearlessness to make things happen.
That's all you can ask, Ryan. In the past, he's had these opportunities and he's not taken them. You know, whether he started or he's come on and he's not impacted the game. I think he's grasped the nettle now. He's clearly been taken aside and been told, whenever you get an opportunity, something has to happen. Yep. Can't continue to play you or give you minutes if you're not going to influence proceedings. So he's clearly taken that on board, because his last few cameos have been very, very good. You've noticed a difference in his attitude as well, his application, and you've noticed a difference in his end product, which is what all wingers are judged on, aren't they? All wide players. He's now impacting games. He's now producing an end product. And I think there's the green shoots of recovery there for Yang. And if he can continue to produce that between now and the end of the season, then, you know, he gets a clean slate for the start of the season, and see if he can have that impact that Kuhn had at the start of this season from pre-season onwards. So, yeah, things are looking brighter for Yang. I think a lot of people's personal jury is still out on him, but it's certainly, the picture's looking a lot brighter for him, isn't it?
Without a doubt, and I'm so happy for him, because how many times in both morning briefings and pre and post match shows have we called for something tangible with Yang? You know, some nice wee cameos here and there, but not a goal, no goals, no assists. All of a sudden, he's starting to get those goal contributions that you need as a Celtic winger. You need something tangible. Jota is going to end the season on really good numbers, despite coming in halfway through. He's always involved in everything positive about Celtic. Nicholas Kuhn, who I think has slightly went off the boil, maybe opened that door for Yang, potentially. Or Jota on the right-hand side. Although I would say that his move for one of the goals, that he goes from defence to attack. He's the one that gets the ball and plays it out. It's a really good cut and pass. So he did have that contribution. I just want to see more from him on the attacking end of things, but that'll come. You know, it will come. I think he's due a bit of a drop in form, because in the first half of the season he was just so electrifying for Celtic.
There's a real finesse about Jota, though, isn't there, in everything that he does, and it's effortless as well.
It was anything but finesse for that finish, Tony.
No, I know that's the irony, but he really is a talented footballer, and as I say, there is a finesse about him, and it is effortless. But that goal was an un-Jota-like goal, if ever you'll see it. I think it took the double touch, didn't it? He played it off one foot onto the other, and it scuffed its way into the net. They all count. So it's but I think when he sees it back, he'll probably be disappointed with himself that he didn't actually score it.
I have seen the clip already. I think it's Engels that he's winking at for the assist. He's like, cheers, mate. Thanks. I don't know. I don't know if Engels will be starstruck that Jota's gave him a wink or something. But I think that goal was made. It was all about Engels, because the chance was there. He could have easily taken a shot, but as an attacking midfielder, he understood that Jota was in a better position, and I like that. He is a mature footballer, and he's only going to get better.
Well, see the wink to Engels. That should have been what Jota was doing on Saturday to the other player. Engels was a team player in that moment. Jota was maybe trying to be the hero, and I'm hoping that they're all learning off each other in these kind of moments. You know, be the team player. That's what separates you from being a good player and a great player. There's a big difference, and so hopefully Jota's taking that on board. what Engels does in those positions, because he's got an uncanny knack of picking out a teammate and giving them that free shot at goal, and more often than not, it ends up in the back of the net. So I just hope Jota's kind of thinking, right, for future reference, store it up. Just say, if there's a teammate in a better position, because you had 2 teammates in a better position at Easter Road on Saturday, could have squared it to Maeda. Sorry, could have played it back to Maeda like Engels did to Jota, or he could have squared it across the face to Kuhn. So he had options, but he chose to go himself. But that's just me nitpicking.
I believe that's 20 goal contributions this season for Arne Engels in all competitions, goals and assists. Not bad for a guy that people were maybe doubting that Celtic, including myself, in some moments. I always knew that there was quality in the player, but I didn't know if he was of that level of being £11 million. Of course, he doesn't get to choose. He doesn't get to choose his transfer fee. That's not his fault. That's Augsburg and Celtic's fault for paying that amount of money and asking for that amount of money. Now he's shown that. He's shown why Celtic have parted with the cash. They needed a Matt O'Reilly replacement. Those numbers are coming. Yeah, it's looking like a steal. But look, you've got Tedesco for Belgium calling him up instantly. After a couple of games for Celtic, he called him up for the Belgium national team. He's obviously class on grass, and now he's showing it, Tony.
I think you were like every other Celtic supporter, Ryan. He started
I wanted it straight away, Tony.
Yeah. He started like a house on fire, and then it tailed off, didn't it, to the point where the manager removed him from the team for his own good. Before that stick became, all encompassing and surrounding him, and that pressure started to build. Brilliant piece of management from Brendan Rodgers, because I think everybody was asking questions why your £11 million signing didn't start in the cup final. But he's not looked back since then. He's not looked back since he's been reinstated into the team. So the manager has clearly said to him, Arne, you're a talented boy. You just need to relax on it a bit more and produce for me. And believe me, once you produce, you won't look back. And that's what's happened. Great piece of management. But I think people were just questioning the fact that, as I say, the great start against Slovan Bratislava. He played really well in the Rangers game, didn't he? And then it all tailed off. It seemed to be, it was night and day, wasn't it?
It was that Dortmund game. It really hurt his confidence, Tony.
Yeah, and people were just questioning what had happened. Where was that ability? Because it doesn't disappear. And I think they were just wanting a bit more of them. I myself was pretty vociferous in that, because I knew there was a footballer there. And I was just like, what's happened here? Something has to happen. So I wasn't surprised when the manager took him out of the team and out the firing line. And as I say, it's clearly had the desired effect, because he looks leaner, he looks meaner, he looks fitter, and he is now demanding the ball and starting to boss games, which you knew was in his locker. He's now found his feet, he's found his voice, and as I said a few weeks ago, he's comfortable in his skin and he's comfortable in that Celtic jersey. So I'm delighted, and he's 21, and he's a frightening prospect moving forward, Ryan.
21 years old, yeah, and he's single-handedly bossing games now for Celtic. It seems as if that confidence is there. He's got a quiet authority about him, and you notice this when you watch him in person even more so. I don't think the TV does him justice when you're watching him, because when he's in person, you can see that authoritativeness. You can see that he knows he's a good player, and when he injects some pace into the game through dribbling with the ball sticks at his feet when he starts dribbling. He's deceptively quick on the ball. So I'm just, he's a player that excites me. He is going to excite me more and more as the weeks and months go on. Just imagine him with a full pre-season and a mid-season.
Can you imagine the likes of him, Jota and Yang with a full pre-season? So that's my Alexa.
Who's the best midfielder in Scotland?
And she's came on intermittently there, and she won't shut up. A bit like myself. Don't know what she's saying, but there you go. Anyway, we'll talk over it. Greg Taylor was missing, Ryan, but there was a reason for that. His wife went into labour, and him and his wife are expecting their first child. The manager said there's some things more important than football, and he hopes to be celebrating the fact that Greg Taylor's a father, and him and his wife are a father and a mother later on. So that explains his absence. But I thought Schlupp was brilliant again. Really, really good. he just looked comfortable. He looks every inch a Celtic player, doesn't he?
I thought he was okay tonight. I thought he was not maybe as good as his other performances, if I'm being perfectly honest. I thought at the start of the game, Aberdeen now.
Yeah, they got a bit of joy.
Because they were pressing him and they were pressing the back line. I thought, if I'm being honest, let's call a spade a spade. I'm one of his biggest supporters. But Trusty was really off it tonight. He looked like a bag of nerves for the duration of the game. Thankfully, Cameron Carter-Vickers is the coolest man in Glasgow, and he keeps things. He's the glue that keeps the defence together. I thought Johnson was okay as well. Schlupp wasn't terrible. I just didn't think he was as outstanding as he has been in previous games.
Still think he's made a big difference there, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think
he's an outball Tory.
Grew into the game,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Also, I was bitterly disappointed with Scales' contribution to the goal. I know Schmeichel gets beat at his near post, but Scales has got to do better with Shayden Morris. They're trying to protect a 10 in a row. That if Celtic hadn't conceded tonight, that would have been 10 in a row for the first time ever in their history. 10 league games at Parkhead in a row that they hadn't conceded. Something like that. You've got to see that out. Scales has got to do a bit better, I think, there. Because there's only one place Shayden Morris can put it, and it's very low down at Schmeichel's post. Can you blame the goalkeeper? I don't know, but I just feel Scales' contribution should have been a hell of a lot stellar,
Scales was the end contribution, and he was beaten by Shayden Morris, but I think, and I'll be honest with you, I'll call a spade here. I think Trusty was just as culpable for allowing Pape Gueye to run at him like that.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
If you remember, if you look back to the beginning of the season, everybody knew how dangerous Pape Gueye was for Aberdeen. Mm-hmm. He's had a really bad injury. He's been out for 3-4 months. You've seen him come on at half time, and instantly your eyes kind of draw to him because he's so big. He's such a big, imposing striker. But Trusty allowed him. Trusty was kept on backtracking, and then allowed the pass to be made to Shayden Morris. From then, the shot was, and maybe Schmeichel could have done better, but I thought it was just a good finish by the Aberdeen winger. I think Scales was, just as much to blame, if not the main blame. But, Trusty just looked shaky all night, to be honest with you. And I thought he looked shaky against Hibs too. So maybe that's something that he needs to. But what I would say that he needs to get back on track, because he's going to face the same in Mikel Mandron and Olisanya for St Mirren. He's going to have two imposing strikers, one starting and one coming off the bench. He's going to have to be up for that physical battle, because it will be physical with those two strikers at St Mirren Park at the Smythe Stadium.
5 wins away from the title, Ryan. The countdown's well and truly on. But a word for Jude Bonner coming on. Good on him. 19-year-old. They're coming on, and he got about it. He got in about it, didn't he? Tried to fire in a few crosses and fizz a couple over into the danger area. So I like that. I like that attitude.
I don't know what they're feeding the B team players. When you look at Dane Murray, you look at Jude Bonner. These guys are massive. He was a man down to when he came on. You can see he's physically developed as a young player, and that will set him in good stead if he's going to be making his way into the first team. Perfect game to bring him on, because the game was over as a contest. 3-0 going into 4-0, 4-1 then 5-1. It was actually, you don't want to put too much blame on him, but it's that corner that leads to the goal. Celtic have a corner at the other end of the park, and it's a break that Celtic have got to not be as wasteful with set pieces. I think they should be scoring more from set pieces, but they also shouldn't be losing goals off the back of a set piece. You're in full control. You've got all the vast majority of Aberdeen players in the box trying to defend it. So, if they can get a breakaway, then that's quite disappointing. But I thought he acquitted himself quite well. Definitely one for the future. But I'm glad that Rodgers has made that move to blood him into the first team. He'll get a lot of confidence from that. He was on the bench against Hibs at the weekend. Glad that he got that opportunity to come onto the pitch. Here's hoping that's the first of many for him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want. When you're on the bench, you want to eventually make that breakthrough, don't you? And good to see him coming on. I enjoyed seeing that, Ryan. And also, as you said, Celtic didn't play particularly great, yet they were still 3-0 up at the interval. The job was done. They were pretty clinical when those chances came along, and Daizen Maeda, I mean, I'm half expecting to see him in the background running past you, Ryan, going up the road. You know what I mean? He is a machine. He's still in the right place at the right time for Alistair Johnston's cross. He was still chasing somebody down in like the 88th minute before he scored his second goal. I mean, it's just an incredible attitude, application, and desire that he has. I mean, I genuinely would love to see how many kilometres he covers on a pitch on any given day, because I mean, he must just shatter it every other week.
Yeah, he's just an incredible worker, both on the ball, because his on the ball improvements have been monumental. How much better he has been when he's on the ball in possession. He's now more and more making the right decision as well, and that's down to Rodgers' improvements. He's off the ball. You know what you're going to get off the ball from Daizen Maeda, but you didn't know what you were going to get on the ball from him. You were like, is he going to play the ball out? You're seeing that happen less and less now, fewer and fewer times with Maeda, and that shows an improvement in his game. He's 26, 27 years old. He's just gone into the peak of his career. Seems happy. He's got two young children that are settled in Glasgow. He's got his partner in Glasgow. Everything just seems to be rosy for him, and he's going to get the flowers that he deserves at the end of this season. When Celtic go and win this league, he will be.
He will play the year.
He'll be player of the year. I think they'll already be engraving his name onto the award already, and it'll be deserved because he's been tremendous this season.
Do you know what I liked about the first goal, Ryan? He never gave up on it. That ball spinning in the air, it's a difficult technique, and he just makes it look so easy. But he follows the flight of it. You know, there's not a lost cause. I don't think the words lost cause exist in Daizen's vocabulary. And so he's looking at that, he's chasing it down, and then he's thinking, right, I'm going to go for a strike. And it's a real technique on a volley to smash that home. And everybody breathes a sigh of relief, because Celtic up until that point gave up a few chances and weren't playing particularly well. But the minute the first goal went in, everybody was just like, right, we can breathe now. And then 5 minutes later, they were 2 up. You know, so it's an important goal in the game, Ryan. You know, and he starts the scoring and he completes the scoring in 25 for the campaign, and he's not finished yet. I mean, I don't think you can bet on what he's going to finish on, because his numbers are just incredible.
No, and with quite a few games still left to go, if he can keep the same level going from now until the end of the season, you'd think he'd definitely get to that 30 goal mark, you know, pushing into 35. He has a couple of really outstanding games, could go to 40. That'd be incredible for a player that, you know, predominantly plays out in the left wing. He doesn't even play through the middle. I think that was his second or third game this season where he was playing through the middle. He is instinctive. I think that he's got an instinctive cutting edge about him. I like what he brings to that, because it's almost as if he plays up front, but he plays in a free role. He's allowed to just impact where is necessary for him. He'll get in. And the thing is, he'll bust a gut to go back into that forward position and be on the end of crosses. But when he's not in possession of the ball, and when Celtic are looking to get the ball back, he can press whoever he wants rather than just be pressing the left back or the right back, whatever side he's playing on. He can then move. He can kind of float in that area. I actually think going forward, it might be his best position, playing through the middle, because he's instinctive. That Adam, he'll have something to say about that, but right now, you've got to play Daizen Maeda through the middle. He's just completely lethal, and you want to shoehorn Jota into this team as well. In order to do that, you can't not play Daizen Maeda. So Daizen Maeda plays through the middle, and Jota plays on the left.
There was a moment in the game as well where Ross Doon's walking with the ball and about to smash it upfield, and his peripheral vision, he just sees this green and white flash, and he must have got the fright of his life. You know?
He's into a Japanese bullet train, Tony. He's just quick. He's there. He's not there, and he
was just like,
he's always on his toes.
Oh yeah, and he clearly forgot that Daizen Maeda's going to chase you down. And you know what? I was watching the telly and I was killing myself laughing. I'm thinking, where have you been, Ross, doing that you don't know this guy does that all the time? He is so quick, you know. So I do have sympathy for goalkeepers who maybe like to take a touch, or the old-fashioned words are dilly-dally on the ball, Ryan. You know, but hell mend you if you do that. That's what I say. And Daizen Maeda's around you, you will come across it eventually when he's there.
Give him an inch, he'll take a yard. He's that sort of player. He's a complete anomaly, and he's everything that, modern football. There's a lot of heart and soul being taken out of modern football. When you talk about the interventions due to VAR, VAR wasn't really a factor tonight, which was absolutely brilliant. But still, was a couple of moments where you're thinking, is a goal going to get given as a foul against Celtic, which thankfully wasn't the case for the third goal. I'd need to see that one again, but it looked as if I thought maybe it was a handball on Arne Engels in the lead up to the third goal. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, and the third goal was allowed to stand. As I was talking about, the heart of football, a lot of it's been taken out with transfer fees, with the intervention of technology. Daizen Maeda is the hero that football needs and the hero that Celtic need. Just
the cult hero, yeah.
Not even cult. I wouldn't even put cult next to his name. He's a bona fide hero. Cult indicates that he's like the fringes of society. Every Celtic supporter absolutely.
Oh no, they
loves
are
Daizen Maeda. He's a complete anomaly of a football player, but my goodness, he's the lasting legacy of Ange Postecoglou, and he's actually been the most improved player under Brendan Rodgers. I'm loving his development under the manager, and I think he's still got gears to go up.
But yeah, the manager always develops players and makes them better. I just think he will, in time, become the most unique player who's ever played at the football club, and he will be looked upon as a cult hero and icon when he leaves. That's what I mean. But he is universally loved by the Celtic supporters, and I think part of that was the mystique that he brought, that you didn't know what Daizen Maeda was going to turn up originally. Now the manager's refined those rough edges, and he's turning him into a bit of a complete player. And it'll be no surprise when he walks off with the Player of the Year trophy, Ryan, because he will get it.
It may not just be the Celtic Player of the Year, it might be Scotland all in. He probably deserves that accolade.
Sweep the boards. He should sweep the boards because, and I think he's the kind of player who would be well liked by his peers. He strikes me as being, I think he is a very popular character in the dressing room, but I think he'd be very popular amongst fellow professionals as well, just because of that work ethic and attitude and desire and application that he has. Could be wrong on that, but I'd love to see him win the Player of the Year because I think he deserves it. 25 goals when for the majority of that season, everybody was talking about Kyogo, and he has grasped the nettle and taken over that mantle since Kyogo has left. And my goodness, he's run with that baton. Thank you very much to 540 people who are joining us live after the game. Ryan, I hope it's not too rainy where you are.
It's okay.
Is it okay? Is it eased off? But yeah, lots of people agreeing that Maeda at Celtic should be the Player of the Year. Give him a 10-year contract, says one of the conservators. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
Maybe not a 10-year contract. I know players like him. I don't want him. I want to enjoy him while he's here, to be honest. I don't want to be looking too far into the future. It has been an absolutely incredible season for the winger/striker. He's just such a lovable character, both on and off the pitch. He brings a mystique about him. He's one of the Japanese players that came in. The way that he came in as well, the way that he was announced on Hogmanay for back in 2021, alongside Ideguchi and Ryo Hatate. Hatate still being at the club, obviously. The way from what he's now bringing the numbers that he was reaching in Japan. He's doing that in Scotland now. A lot of people thought that maybe he would get like 10, 11, 12 goals a season. Maybe there'd be a wee bit of a downgrade in the level or the amount of goals that he would get, the volume of goals. But he's actually exceeding that now. This is his best ever season, and it's under not even the man that brought him in, but a guy that I thought that he'd be one of the first players to leave when Brendan Rodgers came in. It's incredible.
These numbers are under the current manager, whose forte is improving footballers, because
I just thought he was a system player.
He's an elite level manager and he works with players, and that's what he does.
Well, Maeda's got elite level traits in his game that an elite level manager is enjoying working under his thread.
Which the manager has noticed and has maximised them to their full potential. Again, getting back to that, how you manage individual players as well and your team. Say thank you to Anthony Menzies or Mingus, whatever way you want to say it. Member for 3 months. Really appreciate that, Anthony. That's very kind. Thank you. But yeah, I think you're seeing both the kind of union of manager and player and team player as well with Daizen Maeda, and it's working out for all parties there, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah, he was as much as Arne Engels was the main man tonight, Daizen Maeda had the last laugh in the game, which I think he
First
enjoys.
and last.
Yeah, full circle, and he ran that whole circle as well. It's a whole lap, and he ran it. But do you know what? He's getting all the plaudits and flowers that he deserves.
16 points clear at the top of the league, Ryan. Rangers play Kilmarnock tomorrow night to bring it back to 13, but it's a matter of time now, isn't it?
Without a doubt, I think it's 5 wins left.
5 wins.
Yeah, I think they'll do it. I think they'll do it with in a bit of style. I think they're already got that game against. I think the two games that they'll be looking at with the most importance is Hibs in the quarterfinals at home in the Scottish Cup, and Rangers at home in the Scottish Premiership to really lay down a marker. You know, that's the last sort of revenge game, because you think of the last time that Celtic and Rangers played each other, it was 3-0. Celtic will be looking for the same sort of scoreline, I'd say, against their rivals, especially with the condition that their team is in at the moment. So yeah, I think there's hunger to get this over with. As much as it wasn't a great performance tonight, they were lethal in front of goal, and if the rest of the team can live up to what Daizen Maeda, Arne Engels and that are doing, then I think they'll be absolutely fine for the rest of the trophies this season.
I'm not overly perturbed about losing to Hibs on Saturday. I think it was a decent wake-up call, Ryan, and a wee sabre rattle of the Celtic players that this quarter-final is not in the bag. It's not a foregone conclusion. You're up against a team who have strung together a very good run and will come to Parkhead fancying their chances and play you in a one-off cup tie. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be a good thing for Celtic, because I think it's what they need, because there seems to be the kind of procession element towards the 55th title. And Chris Sutton mentioned that in the commentary box tonight. He says sometimes it's very hard when the title's so near to keep peaking and peaking. He said because it's human nature. And yeah, I agree that the performance wasn't great, but when the chances came along, Celtic were pretty clinical. So, you know, one of these days they will marry the performance with the clinical element to it. And here's hoping that it's those two games in which you mentioned, the Rangers League game to come and the Scottish Cup quarter-final against Hibs, both at Celtic Park. I think Celtic will be up for them, won't they?
Without a doubt. The manager will get his players up for them. I think he'll send out a message saying that it's going to be important for them to turn up in that game. That's the rain now beginning to come on again, Tony.
I'm going to let you go, fella. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pelting the rain, but thank you for that brilliant contribution there. Safe home. And guys, Celtic are 16 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership, 5 wins, and they've wrapped up title number 55. Hope you enjoy your evening. We certainly have. Take care, and we'll see you all soon on the Celtic Way.
Cheers, guys.